Welcome. We are back here. We're back now. We are in the Homestuck Epilogues. I have some opinions. I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to go. I know some things about this. I don't know a whole lot about it, if I'm perfectly honest. But yeah, we're gonna just get going on this, I guess. All right. So, I mean, I'm assuming I start with the prologue. So I didn't read any of Meat. It says it's clicked here, but it was how I was gonna set up the stream. So I didn't read any in it, but I was in there so I could get everything set up. All right. So I guess no spoilers here. So we're just gonna do that. I mean, I'm gonna start left to right. So we're gonna go prologue, Meat, Candy. Boy, howdy. Oh boy, there's a lot here. Okay. Oh, there's not that many. I thought there was more than that. Yeah, I'm going to read the content warning. All right, so this is the Homestuck Epilogues by Andrew Hussie, Safied_variable, CT set, additional contributions by Lalo Hunt and Aisha Ufera. Rating, mature, category, FF, FM, MM, multi, and other fandom Homestuck characters. John Egbert, Rosa Lawn, Dave Strider, Jade Harley, Jane Crocker, Roxy Lawn, Jake English, Dirk Strider, Barack Obama, Aradia, Megiddo, Tavros, Nitro, Sox, Captor, Karkat, Vantis, Kanaya, Miriam, Trezzy, Pyra, Vriska Circuit, Gamzy Makara, Eridan Empora, Fefri Pixies, RNA Circuit, Mina Pixies, Dave Epidus, Bright Squared, Calliope, Caliborn, Lord English, original male characters, original female characters. Content warning: graphic depictions of violence, major character depth, rape, the economy, xenophobia, pregnancy, alternate universe, mind control, non-con, breastfeeding, misogyny, sexism, transphobia, misgendering, canon compliant, canon divergent, redemption, dubious consent, mind break, world war, political intrigue, robots, child abuse, rough sex, child neglect, alcohol use, breast milk, death, incestuous undertones, mental illness, suicide, polyamory, clown dynamics, meta abuse, fridging. I don't want to know what that is. Genocide, diapers, murder, honk, children, gender transition, depression, toxic masculinity, sexual abuse, friends to lovers, speciesism, babies. I like that babies is a content warning. Manipulation, gore, infidelity, marriage, non-binary characters, milking, identity questioning, political rebellion, fascism, rapping, drug use. Fucking hell. Drug use, funerals, religion, eating, food, aliens, possession, light BDSM. It would have been funny if it was light BDSM, heavy BDSM, theft, furry, anthropomorphic characters, power imbalances, blood, trickster mode, body horror, gerrymandering, starvation, cuckolding, interspecies, relationships, guns, vor, assassination, alien biology, detransitioning, chronic illness, vomit, drugging, cannibalism, unhealthy relationships, capitalism, slut shaming, black romance, kidnapping, fago, bimboification, poisoning teenagers, domestic abuse, reality television, positioning, ghosts, revolutionary rhetoric, self-sacrifice, propaganda, super PACs, Pika, early 20th century dance movements, prison camps, existential crisis, xenophilia, daddy issues, bad parenting addiction, and clown. Languages: English. Oh, Jeezy Pete's. Okay. Summary. 10 years after their adventure began, the heroes are enjoying a well-earned retirement on Earthsea, but John still has one last choice to make. Content. Prologues. And then we have Meat and Candy. Alright. Let's just fucking get into it. I hope reading out a list of content warnings doesn't get me fucking banned. Alright. Prologue 1. It starts with a crack. Everything else rises up from that like steam. A trembling thread that cuts through space in jagged lines, splintering the void into razor-sharp shards of putrefying leptons and quarks popping apart like raw eggs in a microwave. It's coming undone on a subatomic level, from the bottom up, from the inside out. From the top down, it looks like the eye of a storm, a black hole so supermassive that it spans the width of eternity. It turns infinity into something as thin and fragile as cellophane, shreds it of its dimensions, a piece of paper pinched together at either end, a hole poked through. At the center of that hole, the edges can be heard fraying, pandemonium, as continuity buckles in the middle and two ends come smashing together. Around the hole, ghosts scream. They claw at the dying borders of their dreams with fingernail-chipping desperation. They whip together like the wind, trailing the mutilated streaks of their hypothetical futures with them. It's a multifractal neon cyclone of primordial conclusion, a churning blender of hyper-final, catastrophically terminal, overwhelmingly permanent double death. The screaming distorts and plunges low as it gets closer to the cavity. At the center, that distortion turns into an eerie music. That's where the cacophony ends. The shattering, the screaming, the squelching, the sounds of elemental particles being torn apart like string cheese shoved through a meat grinder, then dumped down a strangely melodious garbage disposal. It all returns to the same tonic dominant, matching pitch and tone, ironing out the rebellious flats and sharps until the discordance becomes exquisite. A subharmonic symphony that can only be heard in the bones. At the dead center of the event, it is extremely quiet, a silence made of all the suffering that limitless sempiternity can hold. I'm going to go with it. Bleeding together until the prism turns to obsidian. It's too vast to comprehend, too black to behold without closing your eyes. Retreating to the back of your own eyelids is to seek the comfort of a familiar darkness. It is to reject an absolute tenebrosity so perfectly alien it threatens to rip the humanity right through your eye sockets. This is the end of everything. This is the end of Paradox Space. You wake up. Am I reading fast, Seb? Sorry. Sorry. That happens a lot. I'll try and slow down a bit. Wake up. All right. Your name is John Egbert, and you have just had a terrible, deeply pretentious nightmare. Deeply pretentious. You snap out of bed, soaked in sweat, your heart hammering like a fire alarm. It is just as you feared. You've been dreaming an anime again, and you have no idea what it could mean. Look outside just to make absolutely sure the world is not ending. The sun is coming through your window in bars of soft yellow. The only sound you can hear for miles is the wind skimming the hollows of your neighbor's pipe homes. It's a normal day in the Salamander Village, which you refer to as Salamander Village because the damn salamanders never bothered to give this village a name, you guess. Absolutely nothing of note has ever happened here in the entire history of the planet, which you would know because you created it. Beside your pillow, your phone is vibrating. Rose is calling. The screen of your phone reads 9:30 a.m., April 13th, and also the number 46, which is how many text messages your friend left while you were sleeping. A bit excessive, even for her. Answer the phone. Rose, since when are you known to operate your telephone?
Since, I don't know, has it really been that long since I called?
I can't remember the last time.
Neither can I. Anyway, what's up?
First of all, happy birthday.
Oh yeah, thanks. Fuck, I forgot.
Am I correct in presuming this April 13th will be as uneventful as the last?
Yeah, I don't want to do anything this year. I hope that's okay.
Of course it's okay. It's your birthday after all.
Rose?
Yes? You wander to the window and watch the salamanders go about their day. All over the neighborhood, the little dad salamanders are putting on their little rumpled hats and picking up their little suitcases and kissing their little families goodbye for the day. You've always been confused about what exactly they contribute to the global economy, but it's pretty cute how much they love playing at being suburban businessmen. The silence over the phone is growing awkward. You've stalled long enough. You decide to just come out and say it.
I've been dreaming an anime again lately. I have no idea what it can mean.
I see.
It's horrible every time. And I don't mean because anime is bad or anything. It's not that. Whenever I have these dreams, everything's breaking apart. Millions of people are screaming and dying. I mean, dying permanently. Not the kind of bullshit dying that we've been doing a lot over the years.
A couple yards over, a salamander blows an astounding spit bubble. Truly one for the books. Your eyes trace its meandering journey into the sky as you gather your thoughts.
What do you think it all means?
What do I think what means?
What do you think it means that I've been dreaming an anime?
I don't have the slightest idea what it means that you've been dreaming an anime, John. To be honest, You wait for Rose to finish her thought. She doesn't, which is troubling because you have never known Rose to leave a thought unfinished in over 10 years of acquaintance. You suppose it's possible it may have happened one of the times she died. You wouldn't bet on it, though.
Rose, are you okay?
Not exactly.
What's wrong?
I think my condition's been getting worse lately.
Condition?
It's why my message probably sounded urgent.
You left 46 messages.
Yes, they were all urgent.
Oh.
I don't think I can wait much longer before telling you. I held out for as long as I could. I figured your birthday was as good a time as any to let you know.
Let me know what?
It's crept up on me these last couple of years. Gradually enough to ignore as it was happening, but I can't anymore. Lately the visions have been overwhelming.
Visions?
John, I have terrible headaches these days. Talking on the phone doesn't help at all. Would you mind flying to my apartment so we can continue this in person?
Oh, yeah, you mean... now?
Yes, now is the time. I've put it off long enough.
You move the phone away from your ear and assume an expression you have practiced in you haven't practiced in years. It is the look of a man who actually has something to do. Holding the phone directly in front of your face, you speak into the receiver. Okay, I'm on my way. Bye, Rose. As you hang up the phone, a familiar feeling settles over you. A feeling of standing? Standing and being alone, in your bedroom, as a young man, on your birthday. You swear you felt this feeling before. It's almost like a young man stands alone in his bedroom. It just so happens that today, the 13th of April, is this young man's birthday. Though it was 23 years ago when he was given life, and 10 years ago when he was given a name, it feels like it is only today that he will begin to understand what all that means. That young man is you, John Egbert. What will you do? Fuck. Let's get some water. I honestly don't know how entertaining this is even going to end up being because there's no visual element to it. It's just, I'm just straight up reading. It's like a bedtime story, but it's Homestuck. Page 2. When you arrive at Rose's apartment, you find her asleep on the couch. You slide the balcony door open quietly. Rose? Her eyes flutter open. She looks like a ghost, and not the kind of ghost that looks and acts exactly like an alive person. How long have I been sleeping? I don't know, I just got here. Are you okay? I'll be fine. That looks like a lot of pills you're taking there. Yeah, it's not what you're thinking, though. What am I thinking? These are controlled substances that have been prescribed by a legitimate doctor to ease the symptoms of my condition. I am using them only as instructed. Okay. So there's nothing to worry about. But you said you have a condition. Isn't that bad? You watch her rise in stages. Her arm is trembling where she's bracing it on the couch. Oh, yes. The condition itself is not ideal, obviously, and perhaps it does constitute something to worry about, in the context of a different conversation. All I'm trying to say is, I'm not backsliding, if that's what you're wondering. You spend several pregnant moments saying nothing at all in response to this. You examine Rose's supine, languid form on the couch, optimistic that she will continue speaking any moment now. I struggled with substance abuse for a while, years ago, remember? Rose, Jesus, I wasn't going to accuse you of being a drug addict, and I didn't fly over here to give you an intervention. It sounded like you had some important stuff to tell me, and the fact that you also seem to be sick is more than a little alarming. I wouldn't say I'm sick, just having spectacularly debilitating headaches as a result of my visions becoming more frequent. Oh, yeah. What are these visions you're having? I'm a seer of light, John. I know. So you mean like your standard psychic visions about the future and stuff? What's going to happen? Should we be worried? It doesn't technically pertain to the future. Well, not our future. My abilities have broadened considerably beyond their previous horizon. They shed light on many unseen events, past, present, future, in realities and frames of reference that have no intersection with ours at all. It seems to be an unfortunate side effect of god-tier abilities. They can advance at a rate beyond one's physical ability to keep up with. Fortunately, it doesn't seem to be happening to anyone other than me. Yeah, I can't say I've noticed anything like that, or improvement in my powers for that matter. It's not about gaining additional power so much as the gradual dissolving of the boundaries between your own awareness and that of your many doomed selves who perish in other timelines. It's a slow and apparently rather uncomfortable accretion of knowledge. Perhaps I'm the only one to notice any change since my aspect as explicitly relates to knowledge. I guess it all makes sense. So what are these visions showing you? Many things. They're quite disjointed and sometimes hard to rearrange into coherence, but in totality, I have pieced together a greater understanding of our present situation and all the events that led us here. You watch Rose stagger to her feet and cross the apartment. At the kitchenette, she knocks back another pill with a practiced motion. No water. Her vacant stare drills into the countertop as she quietly waits for the medication to take effect. And? And what? What is it about our situation that you wanted to tell me? Is it bad? Good and bad are words that don't mean anything, beyond a certain threshold of mortal consideration. There's a different scale I've come to understand, another dichotomy that's less emotional, I guess. Consider, instead of the word good, using the word essential, and what exists at the opposite polarity from essential is something that is best not to contemplate. What are you talking about? This sounds fucked up. Yes, that sounds like a reaction you would definitely have to the things I'm telling you. I really should cut it out and just start from the beginning. You follow Rose to the balcony. She raises a hand and points directly into the clear blue sky. She points with purpose, as if to say, there, right there precisely, is where the green sun would be if it still existed. There, right there. Look at that empty piece of sky. Don't you ever wonder why? The green sun is gone. What? It has been destroyed, at least from the current frame of reference it has. It still existed, and therefore, in a way that's hard to explain, currently exists over a nearly infinite span of time, presiding over the birth and death of countless universes. But this universe, our universe, is not one of them. You saw this in a vision? No, Jade told me. She did? How does she know? She can draw from its power. She can't draw from its power anymore. She no longer has the ability of a first guardian. It has been this way for several years. I suspect she has kept this fact on the down low, however. That's surprising, I guess? Or maybe not. I don't know, it's not like she tells me a whole lot these days. It's also not like she's had any particular need to unleash the full fury of the Green Sun, not while she's been gallivanting around with Dave and Karkat under whatever perplexing social arrangement they have settled on. Anyway, her account of the sun's destruction syncs up with the data supplied by my visions. I have no doubt it's gone.
How did that happen?
It doesn't matter much for our purposes. There was a cataclysmic event, a suicide strike by a very powerful being, much like the one Dave and I attempted once upon a time, but it turned out that the explosive force we released was only a catalyst, a causal gesture. What was needed to destroy the sun was a consumptive assault.
Consumptive?
The entire sun was swallowed by a supermassive black hole. I digress, though.
Hello, Dewey's doppelganger. You press your eyes shut just for a moment. Behind them you see a black hole so supermassive that it spans the width of eternity. You quickly open your eyes again and pretend to forget what you just saw.
There's really no route through this expository garden path that will adequately cushion you from the bottom line, John. You will need to travel back into canon and defeat Lord English.
You shrug and try to look casual. You pull off the most casual shrug that a guy has ever shrugged when being presented with the inevitability of his own fate. If Rose were looking at you right now, she would be totally convinced that you are approaching this topic with a level of nonchalance that is entirely plausible and genuine. You're sure of it. Hey, Samurai! Man, it has been a while. Glad you can make it.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to come up again someday.
I'm sure we all did. That is, even those of us without visions.
I was doing my best not to think about it. I guess we can't put it off any longer then?
Now is the time. We are rapidly approaching a point of no return. If the decision isn't made soon, it will be too late. The issue will no longer matter.
When exactly is the point of no return?
Today.
Wow. Okay, then first one question. Why?
Why what?
Why do I need to go back and beat him? I mean, sorry if this is a stupid question. I guess he's just a huge, awful monster, and that's just what you're supposed to do with huge, awful monsters. Take them down for their crimes and such. But why does he actually need to be defeated at all? To be honest, it's been years since we've even bothered thinking about any of this, and everything seems...
Take a look around and survey the current status of all life on Earth, which is totally possible to do from the vantage point of a single apartment balcony.
Fine?
Of course, everything is fine here. We're outside of canon now.
Yeah, I know that. What does that actually mean, though? Are you saying this isn't really happening?
Of course it's happening. Just because certain events take place outside of canon, it doesn't mean those events are non-canon.
Oh.
In other words, there is an important distinction between events which can be considered to occur inside canon, outside canon, and those which are not canon at all. The day we went through that door and claimed our reward, we passed a threshold between continua, marked by differing degrees of relevance, truth, and essentiality. Those are the three pillars of canon.
What?
Rose shoots you an irritated look. You know what that look means. It's reserved for the sort of bozo who just said what once too often.
Any events said to take place inside canon will have non-zero values of relevance and essentiality, while maintaining an absolute foundation in truth by definition, whereas events outside canon have diminished values of relevance and essentiality, or, for the most part, can be considered neither relevant nor essential at all. But such events can't be said to be untrue either. Instead, it's better to regard their truth value as highly conditional. Are you still following?
Say, oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, totally.
So, to be clear, everything that's taken place here on Earth C since we exited canon can be considered completely irrelevant and, for the most part, absolutely inessential. Yet none of it can be called untrue, at least up until precisely today.
Okay, then what does non-canon mean?
Events that are formally non-canon have no truth whatsoever, by definition. They may have relevance and essentiality, values that are non-zero or even quite high, but only as projections along an imaginary axis resulting from highly subjective frames of reference. But, due to those events having no truth and thus carrying no real weight, the other properties are basically rendered meaningless.
You can feel your eyes go wide as the gears in your head slow to a stop. The implications of what Rose is saying are as vast as they are completely incomprehensible. Your mind has just been blown.
John, are you okay? Your pupils have gone quite wide, thereby facilitating the appearance that your mind has just been blown.
Sorry, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this.
You of all people really should have a good and intuitive grasp over these concepts already. You're the one with the retcon powers, after all.
I know! Like, I mostly get it. I think. I just wouldn't have thought to put all this, all of this in such a jargony way.
Sorry, that's kind of what I do.
It's fine. I'm just a bit rusty is all. It feels like it's been so long since I did or even thought about anything that mattered at all.
Yes, the longer we live outside of canon, the more tenuous our relationship with canon becomes, hence the urgency.
Then what's going to happen if we keep dragging our feet?
I mentioned that events outside canon have a truth value that tends to be conditional, remember? Well, I did. But let me put it another way. As long as we live outside canon, everything that happens will technically be real, but only conditionally. There are certain crucial events inside canon which must happen in order to continue to prop up the legitimacy of events here on Earth C. And you specifically, John, have a responsibility to make sure those events take place.
And I take it that means going back and killing Lord English?
Yes, his defeat is the keystone to this entire continuity. Much like his life, in some sick way, governed by the overall design of the bridge which that keystone was holding up. But without it, all of this falls apart. Everything we've been through, in a way that's impossible for a single mind to fully comprehend, becomes retroactively discredited.
So, reality will be destroyed or something? Hasn't that already sort of happened? I mean, when all the black space started cracking?
No, this consequence isn't physical, or even a disruption of the timeline. It's more of a conceptual unraveling. If you miss the chance to authenticate canon events, something will take place that's a bit difficult to describe, but I've encountered a term for it. It's called dissipation. Like a notional fading, as if something somewhere is undergoing a process of forgetting, and we are what is being forgotten. All ideas, people and their full potentialities, possible outcomes and their specific unfolding, all these things live inside conscious frameworks. The further removed we get from authentication of canon events, the less relevant they become, and they slowly fade from the conscious frameworks which kept them stable.
Make a theatrically startled expression. Okay, I guess we don't want that to happen. Or unhappen. Whatever. So I just retcon poof back to English and start, like, brawling with the dude?
Don't be ridiculous. You wouldn't last a second. You'll need a team. Also, you don't want to just dive headlong into a battle with his hulking adult form. That would be tactically foolish, and furthermore would skip over some very important steps needed to authenticate canon.
Like what?
I mentioned that English's defeat was the keystone to the continuity, but this is an oversimplification.
Yikes. Well, we sure as fuck wouldn't want to simplify anything.
John, please don't be a bitch. I'm unwell, remember?
Sorry.
The true keystone, which is a necessary component of his defeat, is the juju. The house-shaped object you stuck your hand in to gain your retcon powers.
Oh yeah.
While empty, it resembles a gap. Like a hole in canon, whose only purpose is to be filled. In serving that purpose, it grants one with a radical canon-altering powers that would be needed to fill it. Once filled, it becomes solid, no longer a gap, but a serviceable, load-bearing wedge in our continuity. Like a keystone. And once delivered to English and directed his way, it empties itself again, releasing its narrative-bridging payload. It functions as a weapon, and in some manner will bring about his demise.
In some manner?
It's a complicated artifact, as old and unfathomable as anything else in Paradox Space, like the Green Sun or English himself. Don't worry about it for now. The important thing is that in the due course of your travels, you end up loading and unloading this weapon.
How am I going to do that?
Once you set things in motion, it should just happen naturally through the narrative momentum of your journey. I'm really just warning you about it rather than instructing you.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Rose looks at her phone. You recognize Kanaya's distinct typing style in the window. Rose's thumbs begin to fly across the keypad. She continues to text as she talks. So.
How fucking long is this page?
Okay. So, if we're going to go back and kill him in time to authenticate canon, I guess we have to get going soon. Like, today?
Yes.
Are you sure you're actually up for a fight, though? No offense, but you're looking a little worse for the wear.
I'm not going.
Oh.
None of us are. Only you.
What? But you said...
John, this is the victory state.
What the hell does that mean?
When we went through the door and passed beyond the threshold of canon, we effectively retired from bearing any responsibility for influencing canon events. We've all been sort of decommissioned as active players on the cosmic stage, with severely diminished relevance attributes. All of us, except for you, of course, since you've retained your retcon abilities.
Okay, I get that. Kind of. But couldn't you all just come along anyway?
We could, but it wouldn't serve any purpose. It wouldn't plug up the remaining dark spots in canon. You will need a group of active players, those still stuck inside the stream of canonic karma.
Who?
Nothing too extravagant, just different versions of us, younger versions, from a particularly dysfunctional impasse in our journey. I can point out the exact moment in canon you should be disrupting and how you should disrupt it. In fact, I've already written it down to spare you the trouble of remembering.
Rose leads you back inside and retrieves a letter from her desk. She hands it over, still typing one-handed on her phone. She sits down, and you read the letter.
Huh.
Is anything confusing about my instructions?
No, I remember all this. It shouldn't be a problem. It's just weird to think about revisiting this. It seems like an eternity, like we were all completely different people back then.
I assure you, we are all still fundamentally the same bunch of losers.
Rose is ultimately right about that, the way she is about most things. You continue to scan the letter and grimace slightly.
Should I really punch her in the face? I felt kind of bad about it last time I did that to someone.
Yes, you absolutely should, and must, punch her in the face.
You exhale and turn the paper over in your hands. The other side is blank. You flip it back over, having fully processed the instructions drafted in the polished purple handwriting. You like how Rose still writes in purple after all these years. Some things never change.
Alright, this seems straightforward enough. I mean, aside from the part where we all have to fight an invincible monster.
He isn't entirely invincible. He will be vulnerable to Dave's weapon. I believe other gambits should present themselves as well. I don't think it would serve the mission well for me to tell you exactly how it will go, but at least I can offer you this bit of encouragement. If you follow my instructions, English will be defeated. It is an absolutely essential outcome, and essential, if you remember, is the word we should be using instead of good.
I see you're advising me to go after him when he's young. I guess that makes sense. Go get him before he gets all big and strong. Like, kind of a surprise attack?
Sure.
That dude sucks. He was taunting me a while back. Like, I think he wants me to come fight him? Anyway, I just ignored him, obviously, because I'm not a stupid idiot. But I guess today will be his lucky day.
You take a seat next to Rose on the couch. Examine your friend. Her eyes are closed, and her hands are folded in her lap. She's not asleep, but she looks wasted. Like all the life in her has been sucked out through a straw. Like she's insubstantial. When you were kids, you always thought that Rose Lalonde had all the answers, that she could fix any problem with a wall of text and a witty rejoinder. You guess that much about her hasn't changed. She's still trying to solve the problems you all left behind. You can't believe how sick she looks. How did this happen to her?
I should probably get going and let you rest. We can talk about it all when I get back. I'll fill you in on how it went. Hopefully you'll be feeling better by then.
Oh, yeah.
Something wrong?
Rose opens her eyes and looks at you, but she says nothing, just looks.
I'm not scared, if that's what you're worried about. You already said we were going to feed him, so nothing to fret over, right?
Yes, you... Something flickers through her eyes, almost too quick to catch. Then she smiles at you. It's warm and sincere. You're going to do great. Rose slides her arm around you. After a while, she releases you from the embrace and gets up to fetch her bottle of pills. She pauses at the bedroom door to look at you one more time. Goodbye, John. She closes the door behind her. Look at the letter. You run your thumbs along the edge of the paper. Is this really it? One hug from Rose and you're off to face your destiny? The instructions in the letter are clear, but you aren't sure precisely what to do next. Inertia and indecision keep your feet planted firmly on the carpet. Then, as if directly answering your quandary, the phone buzzes in your pocket. It's a text from Roxy. Read text. It sounds important. You get up to go without even thinking about it. You exit through the sliding glass door and leave it open behind you. So, fucking... Oh, boy. Is this supposed to, like, reflect what was happening with Homestuck over the last several years? People forgetting about it? Is that the whole idea here? Is that the premise of this? You gotta go, Tressa? Excuse me. Yeah, alright, well, have a good one. Glad you could stop by for a little bit. Take care of yourself. Alright, number 3. It's a beautiful day in the Carapace Kingdom, just like it was in the Human Kingdom, and just like it was in Salamander Village. For whatever faults this paradise you created might have, you sure don't hear many complaints about the weather. You're sitting with Roxy and Calliope on a giant chessboard patterned tablecloth. It's a nice touch, you think, but if you spent any time shopping in the Carapace Kingdom, you'd know most things you buy are chess-themed. Friendly Carapacians go about their day around you, passing through the park with their eyes politely averted as they pretend not to notice the 3 celebrities are having lunch in the grass nearby. It's extra polite of them because you and Roxy are having a very personal conversation.
She looked alright, mostly just tired. At least she seemed to have enough energy to babble at length about philosophical gibberish and things about canon and such. Mayo, guess she filled you in on all the ultimate self junk, huh? Then. Ultimate self junk, then. The what? The shit where she starts knowing everything and feeling bad? Oh, that's not the term she used. She just kept describing it as a condition. You haven't been feeling anything like that, right? What, getting to know my ultimate self? Yeah. Man, I barely got a hold of my basic-ass self. Yeah. She said she was the only one going through this, that she knew of. Poor Rose. At least all the medication seems to be keeping her sort of functional.
Roxy gives you a serious sidelong glance. Remember that whole totally unprovoked spiel Rose gave you about substance abuse?
She said it wasn't like that. I mean, she said it was under control. Well, what the fuck do I know? The only illicit substance I've ever done is lick that stupid trickster lollipop. Never again. Yeah, whatever. Can't say it's much my business anymore. Rose and I aren't as close as we used to be.
You nod, sort of knowingly, because you're thinking about how you hadn't talked to Rose in ages either. Roxy gives you a quizzical look, but you turn away before she can draw a meaning from it.
Miriam's been keeping her real busy since they got hitched. They both vanished down the Ruden Caverns, and that was pretty much that. Only since she got sick and spent more time at home did we start talking more again. It's been great, but our conversations have been a little bit upsetting.
And here it comes, the thing you were trying to avoid thinking about the moment Roxy texted you, about how you haven't talked to Roxy in ages either. You're having such a nice time ignoring that fact, too. Change the subject.
So, are you and Callie still living at the same place I last saw? The one near the tower?
You look towards the bell tower in the distance. It's a Gothic building so tall that it cuts a shadow through the midday sun. It's an important landmark in the kingdom, the tallest structure for miles around, and the only way you can ever navigate your way here flying. Carapace architecture is otherwise identical, a reflection of their functional collectivist society.
Yep, that's cool. It's a nice place. Yeah, I like it here. I thought about it, but I'll probably never want to live in a different kingdom. Still feel most at home around the chess guys. Makes sense. That's about how I feel, that's about how I feel about the salamanders, which I realize actually makes no fucking sense. They lead simple lives. I don't really care for the chaos of human or troll cities. Neither do we.
You watch Roxy smile and reach for Calliope's hand. Look away before you start dwelling on it. You start dwelling on it immediately, looking probably quite conspicuous about how quickly you whipped your gaze away. But seriously, what is up with their relationship? Is it romantic? Platonic? Can cherubs even have a romantic relationship? Are they even interested in it, like on a fundamental level? Do their brains and hearts even work that way? Questions like this used to keep you awake at night. You look at them, and where Roxy's fingers are entwined with Calliope's green claws. Calliope is still wearing the Ring of Life, the same one you obtained in a ludicrous adventure through the afterlife, and then re-obtained in a ludicrous adventure through canon when it was stolen from you. It's the same one that allowed Calliope to stop being dead in the first place, and to come live with your friends here on your beautifully renovated home planet. And it's the same one you gave Roxy all those years ago, to fulfill a promise you made to a very special new friend. At the time, the gesture felt so important. It felt more meaningful than any gift you'd ever given. Like there was some grand emotional gravitas about it that signified something deeper than what it turned out to be. You have since concluded that you were just imagining things, ascribing symbolic meaning to gestures that they simply didn't carry, like the dumb kid you were. Tactfully avoid saying anything at all about Roxy and Calliope's weird, ambiguous relationship.
So...
But you can't stop thinking about it. What goes on in Roxy's head, what she thinks about you. You and all your friends have dispositions affected by your classes and aspects. You think you know what that means in your case, but what about her? You can only speculate. Void is a place where things sink and disappear, where they linger forever but cease to exist. You weren't actually sure if your feelings for Roxy ever really faded, or if they just grew numb with time and distance. Is it the same for her? You search your soul for the answer, but come up empty. The truth is, you suspect her mental interior is unfathomable. In fact, you feel sure of it. You wonder suddenly, watching her, this vision of her, that is, the one with whom you share all these bittersweet memories. Will you ever see her again? John?
What?
Please forgive me if I come across as impatient, but if you are finished with the pleasantries, I believe you have a choice to make.
Huh?
The choice as to whether you will defeat my brother or stay here. Have you decided yet?
There's a choice?
Calliope is smiling brightly, but Roxy's face has no expression at all.
I was just assuming I had to go, because if I don't, then a lot of stuff will stop being real, or stop being canon. To tell you the truth, I'm a little confused about what will happen if I don't go, but it sounds like it'll probably be bad.
That may be so. We are not here to caution you about your consequences of your decision either way, but there is always a choice. Roxy and I merely wish to invite you here for a nice human picnic, and show our support for whichever decision you make.
Oh, fuck. I swallowed wrong. Shit. Fuck. I went to breathe in. Like I got some spit in the back of my throat. Shit. Damn it.
To be honest, it's a relief to finally be doing this. It is?
Mm-hmm.
How much have you actually talked about this? I mean, how many people knew this was going to be a thing?
Just us and Rose. Well, Dirk too, I think. She's been talking to me a bunch. And him too, but I don't know how much. He's got, thoughts about all this shit. But whatever, that's not important or even remotely surprising. Bottom line, Rose has been tormenting herself by having to tell you. I'm just glad she finally said it so she can rest. Now it's up to you. Yes, take all the time you need. Again, we aren't here to influence you. It's very important that the decision come from your desire to go through with it, one way or another. Any tampering could taint the results.
Taint the... Wait, what?
So what'll it be, John? A chill runs through you and stays there. Consider the gravitas of this choice. You try, but you can't, because you weren't really prepared for it. You didn't think it was a choice at all until this very second. You think back to the way Rose looked at you before she went to bed. What has she told Roxy that she didn't tell you? The chill tightens around your throat and turns into fear. No, not fear. The feeling is worse than that. It's regret. You wasted your time here on this idyllic restoration of Earth. Why did you spend so much time alone, moping around the house mourning your dead father, who probably would have wanted you to get more enjoyment out of your teen years, as well as your unusually early retirement? There's so much you could have done. You could have even reached out to Roxy again. Maybe she was waiting for you to do that. Maybe your withdrawal hurt her. Maybe she was heartbroken, just like you kind of feel right now. You study her perfectly stoic face and conclude nothing from it. Her expression reminds you of how Dave used to look when you first met for real, before years of living with Carcat softened him up. Impenetrable cool. It's too late to figure any of this out now. You fucked it up already. Unless, of course, you choose to stay. Upon further examination, you realize that Roxy's stoicism isn't cold. There's concern there. She is displaying restraint, keeping quiet while you make up your mind. You're sweating, you realize. Cold sweat. Even worse than the anime nightmare sweat you woke up soaked in this morning.
John? You okay? Looked like you were gonna pass out there for a second.
Suddenly, Calliope bolts upright.
Of course, what was I thinking? This decision is far too important to be made up on an empty stomach.
She fetches the picnic basket, which naturally has been sitting there on the tablecloth since the moment you arrive.
Here, before you choose which path you're going to take, you should decide what you'd like to eat. I have packed a wide variety of provisions, easily enough to satisfy even the most ravenous picnic-goer's appetite. Behold, an array of savory delights for the carnally inclined, or perhaps something for your sweet tooth, if a lust for treats is what stokes your desire.
Calliope produces 2 dishes from the basket and begins gingerly unwrapping them. The unwrapping is so ginger, in fact, that there's something almost dramatic about it, like the opening theme to that boring sci-fi movie with the monolith and the bone-throwing monkeys. Should be playing as she peels away the cheesecloth. On one plate is a pile of meat, rare, almost bleeding cuts from animals you can't identify. The other plate holds a generous heap of colorful, exotic-looking candy. You scoot to the side and peek into the basket to see if there's anything else. There's a book in there, but no more food. This is all there is. Contemplate your lunch. You put a finger to your lips and focus on the food with great intensity. You stop fretting about choices and heartbreak and eternity and Lord English. Your entire world narrows to a single point of light as you are utterly consumed by the overbearing decision of which of these absurd meals to have for lunch. Meat or candy. Meat or candy. The 2 possibilities pinball around your skull. Meat or candy. It's a tough choice. On any other day, you might be inclined to simply follow the whims of your cravings, but no clear victor surges to the forefront of your mind. Either option offers a tempting means of sustenance. You know the meat will be rich and filling, and if you're being honest with yourself, you haven't had the most robust diet as of late. You didn't even have breakfast. It's probably a good idea to eat something resembling a real meal for once. But you're no stranger to Calliope's tastes. As far as carnivorous comestibles are concerned, you know every cut on that plate is rare to the core. It's fill your mouth to the bursting with... It'll fill your mouth to the bursting with juice, lie heavy on your stomach for hours to come as your body works to break down all the nutritious protein and fat. It might be tough to chew, it might even be tougher to swallow. Maybe the candy is the better choice for a picnic like this. Something that'll go down easy and fill you with bright energy as you pass the time with your friends. You know you need to just let go sometimes and stop worrying so much about what other people expect of you, or even what you expect of you. It's not a bad thing to enjoy yourself just for the sake of pleasure. But eat too much, and all that sweetness could make you sick. Roxy and Calliope glance at each other in confusion as you deliberate over what to eat. You suppose it's taking you a while to choose, but each dish is appealing enough in certain ways. Each has its potential dietary drawbacks. You don't want to make a decision you can't stomach. Meat or candy, John? Meat or candy? You release your breath when you realize you've been holding it. You're being ridiculous. What's the sense of fussing over lunch? In the end, it really doesn't matter. Whatever you choose, it'll all be flushed down the toilet tomorrow. Just go with your gut. Don't sweat the small stuff. There are much more important things out there to fuck yourself up over. Choose meat or candy. When I was setting up the stream, Samurai and Chixie, I did not read anything in meat. I have not read anything at all. But in order to set up the stream and like align the camera and where chat is and where like the alert box widget is, I had to open up a page so I could align everything up. And I didn't click Prologue for some idiotic reason. But I didn't read anything. I was just using the first page to line up everything for the stream. So... I'm just going to go left to right, which meat is the left here, so I'm always going to go with that first, and then we'll go candy later. Meat Epilogue 1. Meat was definitely the right choice, you think. As grease drops down your chin, the meat is cold... The meat is cold and undercooked, so you have to grab it with both hands while you rend it apart with your incisors. It bursts in chunks, filling your mouth with blood and your throat with mangled knots of gristle and long strings of muscle fiber. You take big bites, almost too big to swallow, so big that you choke on the meaty mulch and hawk some of it up into your nasal cavity. You sneeze out a gooey rope of phlegm and flesh. You stop for a moment to wipe your face, but your chin is so slippery as you swipe the mess away. Slivers of meat catch between your teeth as you masticate with bestial enthusiasm. You use your thumbnail to fish them out. Finish up. Some of the blood is coagulated on the surface of the plate. You grab it from Calliope and lick it clean. She washes you, calm, placid, alien. Sorry. That's fair. Roxy's leaned forward to scrutinize your slovenly feasting, her eyes wide and intense. You stare back at them with your hands coated in unctuous organic matter and flecks of seared skin. The blood on your hands is so thin that it's like oily Kool-Aid pooling in your palm. Think suddenly about all the many horrible crimes committed by Lord English. I think John just eat straight up raw meat, which is awful to think about. Ugh. God, that guy is the worst. The memory of his stupid face and his terrible art and all that abominable misfortune he has caused across multiple universes and timelines makes your meal start to curdle in your stomach. The meat sits there like a big, lardy mass. A black hole bursting the universe apart around it. You feel like rocks are churning in your gut and your mouth begins to water, hot and sour. The flavor of the afternoon air changes around you and it's too hot, almost suffocating. You swallow back a mouthful of pungent bile as your eyes swim and lose focus. You know what you must do.
I know what I must do.
Of course you know. What kind of guy would you be if you stayed here when you're the only one in existence capable of completing the grim task? A pretty shitty one who just sneezed up a chunk of raw meat in front of a girl you used to have a gigantic crush on.
I have to go back and kill Lord English.
My mic is picking up the fan. I was afraid of this.
No, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm overthinking things.
You sure? I think so. It'll probably be hard, but I think it's the right thing to do. Everyone is counting on me.
Roxy pulls back and takes a deep breath. It's a very thin breath, and her lip quivers a bit when she sucks it in. She looks disappointed, though you could be misreading her as usual. Calliope looks... Well, her face is a permanently grinning skull. You'll be damned if you know what's on her mind either.
I understand.
No one says anything for some time. A pleasant breeze rolls down from the hills. In the distance, the bell tower chimes twice. You notice that a group of Carapacians has stopped to stare at you with beady-eyed fascination. The front of your shirt is stained with dark, slimy patches from the meat. Christ, why did you have to eat that meat like such a slob?
So is that it? Should I, get going?
If this is your decision, then yes. There's no time to lose. If the choice you have made, is to matter. Calliope closes up the picnic basket and stands. Roxy follows, taking Calliope's hand in hers again. Say goodbye?
Okay then. Thanks for inviting me to this picnic. Guess I'll see you both when I get back?
Neither of them reply. You look from one to the other, then back again. A loud belch escapes your mouth, catching you completely off guard. The gastrointestinal ambush releases an invisible cloud of chewed-up protein odor into the public park. The gross ball of mucus roils and snarls in your belly like an unruly groundhog, prodded yet reluctant to come out and see its shadow. Ugh, why are you thinking about this? Hug them, dummy. You hesitate a few awkward moments too long. When you go to hug them, they've already turned away, leaving you standing in the middle of the park alone with your arms half raised, cupping the air. It's so pathetic that the eavesdropping Carapacians finally scurry away, overwhelmed by their secondhand embarrassment. You didn't even know they could get embarrassed. You drop your arms and sigh. Time to get on with it. Before you leave, you fly back home and take one last look around Salamander Village. You breathe in the clean, crisp air, listen to the pipes chime, soak up the unfiltered sunlight. You then head inside for a wipe down, since it feels like you've been making face-down snow angels on the floor in an ill-kept slaughterhouse. You head to your bathroom and wash all the meat off your face, but somehow you still don't feel that clean. An invisible layer of oil seems to cling to almost every square inch of your body, no matter how hard you scrub. You go to your bedroom desk and dig out some stationery. Write, Dear Roxy. You've never written a note so quickly or with such clarity of heart and mind. When you're done, you write 9 more. Your hands leave grease stains on the paper. You leave 10 envelopes on your bed, arranged in a tidy circle with the names of your 10 closest friends written on them. Then, with absolutely no fanfare, you leave all of them and this idyllic world you've created behind and zap yourself back into canon. Me too. Bro. In the heart of the Troll Kingdom's capital city, Dave and Karkat are sitting on their couch with a foot and a half of space between them. It's a typically picturesque day outside, but Karkat has the curtains drawn shut all the way. This is part of their compromised living situation. Dave puts up with the trollish non-Euclidean architecture and bizarre social mores, and Karkat has adjusted his diurnal schedule to, in theory, see the sun. Bro, you have to check this out. Karkat is leaning forward, munching on chocolate-coated beetles, and totally absorbed in what he's watching. The glow from the television highlights the dark bags under his eyes. Dave reaches out and, very gently, pokes Karkat in the cheek. Karkat flinches out of his full-body slouch.
Not now, Dave. Jake's ass is on TV again.
Stop ogling Jake's ass. This is important.
Who the fuck are you to tell me whose ass I should stop ogling? Look, it's absolutely hypnotic. I mean, not in a sexual way, per se.
Of course. Dave casts a weary look towards the TV, where Jake English is shamelessly exhibiting what is definitely his best feature in front of a live studio audience. This is a regular highlight of his in Dirk's hit television show, Rumble into Pumpkin Patch, a schizophrenic cross-section of rap battle and robot wrestling that Rose once described as an exploitative, almost data? I don't know how that's pronounced, actually. Dada-esque clusterfuck of circumlocutory pretension and sweaty homoerotic estriction. Jake came up with the title for the show, and Dirk absolutely loathed it. However, before Dirk could insist on an alternative, Jake had already posted an online poll pitting his idea against whatever Dirk's lame idea is. Needless to say, the second option was much less popular. Karkat gestures at the televised spectacle, a bit helplessly.
It's all in the way it's being programmed by the station. It looks like it took me a while to notice, because it's not like I make it a point of staying glued to this phony televised human gladiator garbage. It's soft as fuck. They barely even try to make it seem real. Dave, I consider myself a cosmopolitan, if I can fucking speak properly, individual, a man of learning, but as a native Alternian, I'm actually fucking offended by this insulting display of namby-pamby pageantry. Anyway, the more I watch, I can't help but notice the camera's lecherous fixation on this boy's voluptuous posterior. Can't say I blame them, I guess. At least it shows they know exactly what's paying the fucking bills, because it sure as hell is the quality of the slam poetry.
Okay, who gives a shit about that? Although it pleases me to hear you take note of the economics of this broadcast, since it is apropos to the topic at hand, but more on that later.
Apropos to fucking what? I don't have time to scope the latest meme, Dave. You're coming perilously close to cutting into my important leisure time as it is.
Leisure time. This is all you do. This is all you ever do all day. Also, it's not a meme. It's much more important.
Oh, excuse me, hotshot, but what possibly could be more important than the latest meme? That was a joke, FYI. Now leave.
Jane's running for president.
What the fuck?
Dave scoots a foot and a half closer so that they can both read the news on his phone. Karkat tips his head to the side to get a better view until it bumps against Dave's shoulder. Got the announcement right here.
You mean president of Earth?
Yeah.
Why the fuck would she want to do that?
I don't know. Crocker is just an ambitious woman, I guess.
That sounds fucking awful.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. Also, don't tell her I said this, but I think she's basically a fascist.
Why would I tell her you said that? When the fuck was the last time either of us had the fuck all to do with Jane?
No, I know. Just like a figure of speech, I guess. Also, she's a fucking xenophobe.
Of course she's a xenophobe.
Karkat, without drastically altering his position on the couch, turns his head so that he can look Dave straight in the sunglasses.
Dave, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of humans are?
Yeah, I've noticed.
Also, what the fuck does she even mean she's running? What a complete load of shit. She's a god. Which one of the doting idiots on this planet would dare to run against her? She's going to win in a landslide, assuming she doesn't just waltz into office uncontested.
Yeah, I don't disagree, which is why we have to stop her.
Huh? Dave, what exactly are you saying? Are you telling me you're going to run against Jane?
Karkat's laughter is uproarious, incredulous. He reaches for another beetle as his guffaws subside, and eats it in a manner he hopes will convey his casual contempt for Dave's insinuation.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Do you have any idea how rich she is?
Dude, we're all rich. We, invented the fucking economy.
Well, yeah, but not like Crocker rich.
Anyway, no, I'm not running. You are. Karkat stops chewing his beetle and does a literal spit take right into Dave's face.
Me?
Yeah, man. It's perfect. You're the ideal opponent to take her down, and to be honest, just what this planet needs.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
We established this how many years ago? I'm not a leader. I was never meant to be one. Jane probably is, although to be fair, I'm agreeing with you, she's a complete asshole. I'm just not the one to run an effective opposition campaign. Where? How? I wouldn't even know where to start.
Obviously, you wouldn't do it on your own. I would help. I'd be your campaign manager, or chief strategy guy, or whatever. Also, you're wrong. You were meant to be a leader. You were meant to be a leader, and you'd be a good one. Just not the kind of leader you always thought you'd be. Not a bellicose, conquering dickhead who commands fear and respect. Just a guy who is cool and nice and actually cares about stuff, and everyone loves them for that reason.
People don't love me.
You're breaking my heart, dude. BRB, gonna hit the toilet for a quick power sob.
Shut the fuck up.
It still amazes me how little awareness you generally seem to have, how insanely popular you are on this planet. It's fucking adorable.
You're wrong. All I see is Jake on TV and Jane in the news stories about her stupid business and Dirk doing whatever fucked up shit he's doing with his celebrity presence. I see your mug a lot too, Mr. fucking political puppet master. You get more votes than me and you know it. You're probably just a coward.
You only see famous humans on TV because you just avoid all troll kingdoms. Fucking hell, I can't fucking read.
There's not even a quirk to this. It's just fucking text.
You only see famous humans on TV because you just avoid all Troll Kingdom channels deliberately. You hate it whenever you see yourself on TV. Don't pretend I don't notice you change the channel as fast as possible whenever you see yourself.
Yeah, well, maybe
Karkat hesitates, then slouches back into the couch cushions, restoring the customary foot and a half space he and Dave usually keep between them except when watching horror movies, eating chips, or talking about the top 600 stupid things Karkat saw earlier that day because he made his intrepid annual decision go out and sighed. Maybe I don't actually like being famous, and maybe that's as good a fucking reason as any not to run for the fucking presidency of Earth. Not to mention the idea of an election is kind of fucked up and weird thing to be culturally anyway, and I'm still kind of getting used to the idea that people can just choose their fucking leaders and not have the same old merciless bitch in power for several million years. Well, what better way to acquaint yourself with democracy than to take a crack at high office yourself? Dude, seriously, you would absolutely kill it with the troll voting block. The entire kingdom would vote for you. They go ballistic if they heard a troll actually had the guts to run against Jane, let alone one of their heroes. And frankly, just between you and me, Jane is... How do I put this? What? Okay, I'll just be the one to come out and say it. She's going to be a fucking disaster for the economy. I guess I have to admit, part of this, for me personally, it's... What are you saying, Dave? It's about Obama. Very slowly, Karkat raises his right palm and forcefully unites it with his own face. He barely even got a chance to prove himself. He was sworn into office and it was cool and everything was going to be great, but then everyone died a few months later because of meteors. Dude was just getting warmed up. So sad. I wonder if he would have fixed the economy. I bet he would have fixed the economy. Dave, as much as I enjoy listening to you ramble through yet another chapter of your freestyle Obama fanfiction, don't you already have a basis for knowing how his presidency would have gone? I mean, wasn't he president in the timeline Jane grew up in too? Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, of course I know that. I just don't like to think much about that timeline. Doesn't really feel like it's canon? Didn't some clowns take over the world or something? I don't want to talk about it. The point is, in the world that mattered more, I mean, like the one I belonged to that I used to imagine had a real future, that didn't involve meteors or a fish dictator or the American political landscape turned into a nightmarish daily joke. I still wonder what could have been if the old man could have saved us all, but instead he died probably, or maybe not. Maybe there was like an escape hatch in the White House that led to his own secret presidential session of Sburb. What if he's just chilling there now? Dave, I think we've covered your Obama secret session of Sburb theory well enough already. I know. I'm just saying is all. It's a beautiful dream. I fucking get it. But yeah, it's more likely he just died. But maybe it doesn't have to be in vain. What if he died for our sins or something? Sounds fucking meaningless. Yeah. But I mean, what if like he could be reborn? Yes, we've been over your Obama god to your headcanons too. No, like reborn as you, metaphorically. You could be the great president he never got the chance to be. You could give the people hope and shit. You could inspire trolls everywhere, or really all non-human kingdoms. Show them anybody could be a president, not just an endless parade of rich humans who think they all know what's better for everybody, or best for everybody. Dave, I'm pretty sure anyone could be president. It's always seemed to me that humans just seem to be more naturally ambitious, and that's why the power structures took the shape they did the last few millennia. I mean, I don't claim to be an expert on psychology, but for some reason, I struggle to imagine a fucking salamander getting the gumption to throw its crumpled hat into the ring for the presidency of Earth. Or the carapaces, for that matter. These are not the ambitious creatures we're talking about here, Dave. They're a huge flock of woolbeasts, Dave. Karkat, don't stereotype. Remember the mayor? Remember how at one point a long time ago he raised an army and rebelled against an evil king? Oh yeah. Somehow I always forget he did that. Kind of mind-boggling, really. Holy shit, I missed the mayor. Me too. Dave and Karkat both observe a moment of silence, a delicate and trembling pause of utmost respect to perhaps the greatest and purest being who had ever come forth from Paradox Space. Dave pats Karkat's knee comfortingly, and Karkat lets out a quivering breath of sorrow, of remembrance. Into his reverent silence, Dave says, "Is the mayor dead? Did that actually happen? Oh no!" I think he would be totally in favor of my idea, by the way. He loved democracy. No shit, he was a fucking mayor! I mean, forget all the lizards and chess guys for a second. Just imagine the good you could do for the troll kingdom. You would do a much better job of speaking to the injustices trolls face than Jane would. What injustices? Dude, please, where to even begin? I know Earthsea has generally been a pretty chill place to live, but there's been some shit going on that is legit creepy. All this population regulation bullshit that's been going on since we basically set up civilization and pieced out into the future. When you think about it, its long-term consequences, it's been fucking weird. Like the government being responsible for troll reproduction through cloning? A government that just happens to be predominantly human most of the time? Like, it makes sense on paper at first. No mother grub, gotta keep the race going and expand the population for a good while and get the numbers up. Until Kanaya gets here and hatches the grub, and then I guess a system of natural reproduction can take over in theory, but after so many centuries of that shit, doesn't the weird political imbalances, like, get entrenched? There's a measure of real concern and passion working its way into Dave's voice. Karkat, despite his typical front of loud indignation, hangs on every word. And once Rose and Kanaya crank out a few more broods in the caverns, I guess we're supposed to think it's all fixed, right? Like back to trolls as usual or something. But do you really think the human kingdom is going to just sit back and let the troll race proliferate wildly all over the earth? Turn it into another Alternian empire? Folks know the history. They know about the contest and all the violence and the hemo spectrum and shit. They're scared to death of the possibility that trolls could run wild all over the planet. Dave, I know all this. In fact, you know all this because you've heard me say it to Kanaya 1,000 times. Actually, in an effort to not go fucking insane, I try not to think about it anymore. Well, maybe it's time to start thinking about it again. Bro, did you know sitting on the sidelines in the face of oppression is tantamount to siding with the oppressors? Ugh. You think the Crocker administration is really going to go through with plans to deregulate troll breeding? She knows exactly what her base wants. I can already see the dog whistles in this press release. She isn't going to do shit. And really, man, if nothing else, and I truly mean nothing, please, for the love of Christ, think of the economy. Ah! The outburst is all Karkat can do to release whatever tension Dave's impassioned appeal is causing to brew inside him. Motherfucker literally just told him to think of the economy. Jane has this reputation for being awesome at business, but in my opinion, she actually just sucks. She doesn't seem to be even remotely aware how much she's leveraged her status as a god to become a big shot trillionaire. I think she thinks it's all pure business acumen, but I think she doesn't really know what she's doing. Fuckers left and right should be tripping all day long to give her money hand over fist. Of course, she's gonna milk her biz cred for all it's worth in this election. She's probably a much better politician than a businesswoman. Actually, been a businesswoman. Actually, she is like sinister as fuck. I mean, she hides it well. Don't get me wrong. Also, she isn't too hard on the eyes, which won't hurt her chances one bit. But she's going to be brutal on their pocketbooks. Just you wait. I don't fucking believe this. She doesn't know the nuances of sound, comprehensive fiscal policy like I do. My skills are fucking legendary. I manipulated the stock market to assume control of the literal majority of all currency on the planet once. Like, granted, the economy was run by lobotomized reptiles, but still. Wait, another species? Sorry. The point stands, though. I know what I'm doing. What do you think is going to happen when Jane takes over and the economy crashes? I don't know. It's going to be pandemonium. Will it actually be, though? Well, I don't know. Okay, if shit goes sideways, I guess we aren't going to see like raggedy turtles and pauper chessmen standing in bread lines or anything. That's just the nature of alchemy-based post-scarcity economies that depressions tend to be pretty mild. But it will still be bad. A healthy economy is fucking important. If for no other reason than it protects the societal context for what it means to be fucking rich like us. Just a thought. Let's come up with a different campaign slogan than that, okay? Yeah, but the point is just, I guess, she sucks and shouldn't be president. The end. You don't even have to think about economic shit. I can do that for you. I'll be like the treasury secretary or something. Just please tell me you'll do this. Do it for the trolls, do it for the economy, do it for the mayor. But most of all, Dave wipes an invisible tear from beneath the rim of his sunglasses. Do it for Obama? God damn it, Dave. I don't really give a fuck about politics or being a leader anymore, and I think you know what? And I think you know that. I don't care about the economy. And while I'm sure this Obama fellow was a hell of a guy, I couldn't give less of a fuck about him either. But I do care about you. Dave smiles. So, I'll do it. Why not? Nice. Oh yeah. You won't regret it. This is gonna be dope. I think we have a great shot too. With my political savvy and economic genius and outrageous flair for subversive anti-establishment messaging and propaganda, and your big loud fucking mouth. What the fuck? I guess also your charisma and likability and shit. Yeah, you might be right. I'm pretty sure I can fake those things well enough. Oh, also, your weirdly sincere humility. I prefer the term self-loathing, actually. Okay, let's try to avoid that phrase on the campaign trail too. This already sounds like a pain in the ass. There's a gap of silence in the conversation, long enough for the audio from the television to become noticeable. Jake is rambling at a truly dire piece of slam poetry that involves, with zero hint of irony, the terms Batty Fang and Mad as Hops. The neon light blaring out of the screen casts long waves of color along the black walls of the hive and bounces off the glass of the frame print of Dave's least psychologically revealing SBAHJ strip. Karkat sighs and rubs the space between his horns. Can't I just read a bunch of bullshit you write for me off a teleprompter? Yeah, there'll definitely be plenty of that. Dave grabs his tablet off the shelf. He pivots back around and points the pen straight at Karkat. The arc of his arm's motion is polished and decisive, even though it's been a long time since he properly used a sword. But you also need to be natural and speak from the heart and shit. Just like, talk to your people about stuff they care about. My people? You mean trolls? Oh, yeah, I guess it sounded bad. Sorry. But yeah, exactly, trolls. That's gonna be your base, so you gotta rile them up. Inspire them. I don't think you need any fancy speeches to do that. You'll be unnatural. If you say so. So what do we actually do? Next. Dave plops down on the floor and gestures for Karkat to join him on the cold stone. He swipes the tablet on and taps the screen with a pen. Karkat lies down on his stomach and props his chin on his palm so that he can watch Dave scribble political ambitions directly into the shittiest paint program on his OS. Time to talk some strategy. We need to rally as much high-profile support to our cause as we can. But there are some lines of loyalty to figure out. What? Which of our friends are going to side with us and which ones are going to side with Jane? Pretty much all of us are famous and popular all over Earth to some degree. Some of us more so with certain kingdoms than others. So some key endorsements going either way could swing this whole election. Later, Trixie. Hope you had fun. Glad you could join us. Okay, great. So it all comes down to how many famous humans like me better than Jane? We're fucked. Well, not so fast. Let's think it through. You'll have overwhelming support in the Troll Kingdom, and so does Kanaya. She's pretty much a lock to be on our side. Dirk, unfortunately, is just as much a lock for Jane, I'm gonna guess. But after that, it's kind of a free-for-all. Roxy and Calliope will probably be neutral. They have a lot of pull with the Carapacians, though, so that would be a nice score to sway them. Rose will probably claim neutrality at first, but I'm betting she can be cajoled by her wife to our side. And once we get Rose, converting Roxy probably won't be too hard. As for Jade, they stare at each other. Karkat sighs, and Dave wraps his pen against the tablet screen in a slow, uneven staccato. I think it's fair to say she's gonna be on our side. Yeah, maybe a little too much so. Yeah, I wasn't gonna be the one to say it, but yeah, I get what you mean. Of course, we want her help, and her endorsement will go a long way, but I think we gotta sort out, like, a hierarchical approach to campaign strategy. Keep it organized and disciplined with roles well defined. Not let things get too murky with the personal shit. I think we're on the same page here, Dave. Okay, cool. Anyway, let's get back to the Jade issue later. Let's see, who else? Egbert? Right. John should be easy to convince, but I'm not sure how much of a factor he'll be in this campaign. I have no idea how long he'll be away on this mission Rose mentioned. What mission? Dunno. She's been hella cagey about it. Swore me to secrecy until the right time, whenever that is. Anyway, his endorsement would go a long way in swinging the Consort Kingdom. That'd be huge. Aren't there like 100 billion of those fuckers? Securing that voting block should be able to win the whole thing for us. Well, no, the population isn't that big, but yes, it's by far the most populous kingdom. Swinging the Mara would help us a lot, but it won't be enough to decide the whole thing. Consorts overwhelm the other kingdoms in sheer numbers, but due to unscrupulous gerrymandering, all kinds of fucked up voter suppression policies, and some electoral counterbalancing measures to account for their ridiculous population growth rate, their voting power per capita is kind of pathetic. Also, it's hard to drive turnout. This may come as a shock, but legions of easily distracted low-information amphibians, primarily concerned with eating bugs and farming goddamn mushrooms, aren't the most politically motivated demographic. So to get them out of the polls, we'll need to get them really excited. Okay, I guess we'll have to trust your expertise on that, since I don't know the first fucking thing about how to inspire an unintelligent lizard. Yeah, well, I don't either. But that brings us to Jake. Aw, sorry, Seb. Thanks for hanging out. That brings us to Jake. Jake's butt flexes on the television as if in response. Karkat cannot avoid watching it from the corner of his eye. Oh, fuck. No, this is important. Jake is a huge wild card here. I'm sure his endorsement would be completely up for grabs. Thanks for watching, Seb. Bet you could join us for a little bit. I'm sure his endorsement would be completely up for grabs. He could go any way, including just getting turned off by the whole thing and staying apolitical. So we have to be careful about how we approach him. Jake is the only one of us who's wildly popular in all four kingdoms. Well, I can't argue with that. Yeah, so an endorsement from him would be huge. Seriously, just running one out of him doing his double pistol winking bullshit with a thing under it that says vote Karkat might be enough to win the whole election. Just have to get the fickle bastard to agree on to that, which could be tricky. And honestly, I'd be shocked if Jane hasn't already started courting his vote. There's no way she doesn't understand the political stakes. So, it all comes down to the Jake stakes then. Pretty much, the Jake stakes 2.0. What? There was a 1.0. When did that happen? Oh, that's like a whole story. Is this going to be another anecdote about the Jake squad I won't care about and don't want to fucking hear? That sounds like the exact kind of opinion you'd have about it, so yeah. Then I don't want to fucking hear about it. Okay? Shit, hold up. What? Dave fishes his phone out from his lap. Dirk's calling me. What the fuck does he want? I don't know. He just calls me out of the blue from time to time to talk shit, usually about nothing whatsoever. He'll probably joke about how he needs me to cut off his head. Huh? It's a running gag he's been running into the ground for years. Motherfucker is dedicated to this meme, I'll give him that. You said he's going to be a Crocker loyalist, right? Oh, absolutely, no doubt about it. You don't think he's trying to do some reconnaissance work here? Like, intel gathering? He doesn't even know you're entering the race yet. No one does. Okay, good. I guess you better answer then. Okay, well, I missed the call while we were bullshitting about it, but yeah, I'll just call him back now. Dave hits the callback button. On the television, Dirk's phone begins ringing. Sup? Hey, dude. Dave hears the reply through his phone, and then a moment later through the TV due to the broadcasting delay. The whole show has stopped so that Dirk can take this call. The camera zooms in on where he's casually lying on the mat, bruised and a little bit bloody. In the background, Jake strikes an attractive cocked hip pose. He's spinning a revolver around one finger. Fucking hell. Why can't I fucking read? Affecting an aura of attractive indifference, but the look he's shooting his sparring partner is caught having confused and exasperated. Karkat looks from Dave to the TV and back again. Got your sword handy? Always. Good. See, I'm sort of a bind here, and I'm afraid there's only one way out. Okay, I'm fucking leaving.
All right. Now we're on to 3. Boy, these are fucking long, ain't they? John, Zap. Sorry, Haley. Thank you for subscribing, Haley. Sorry, yeah. We started the epilogues. It only took about half an hour to get through Befriend Us. Anyway, we're on part 3 of Meat. Part 3 of Meat. John, Zap. You zap back into canon. It's been so long you'd forgotten what it feels like. The atmosphere smacks unmistakably of, how can you describe it? Relevance? Legitimacy? Funny how you would have never thought to put it that way until you left. It takes you a moment to recognize where you are, even though Rose's instructions were very specific. A place bright and gaudy and filled with the stench of teenage ennui. It's your old living room on the Gold Battleship, where you spent 3 years caught up in a lot of weird, furry romantic drama while learning to unlove everything you once held sacred. 3 long, boring years. Years that, technically speaking, never even happened, now that you think of it. You have the very retcon powers that just brought you back here to thank for that. You barely have time to take in the sick, nostalgic feeling that all the globes and tangle buddies and avant-garde mime art evokes. The fridge pops open and out roll Aranea and Gamzee. Gamzee honks and his codpiece jiggles ominously. Aranea staggers to her feet, looking rather pleased with herself until she notices you and gapes in bewilderment. What are you doing here? I forgot. Alright, hang on. So, I have to do this every fucking time. We have Vriska up here, but then Aranea is a bit down here. What are you doing here? Rose is perfectly clear about what to do next. You make a fist and sort of flinch and look away when you do it. No matter how many years you've spent living on a planet with absolute gender parity, this feels wrong. Still, you hit Aranea pretty fucking hard, underestimating your own strength just as bad as you did the last time you clobbered a hapless circuit. She goes flying back, hits the couch, and KOs instantly into a pile of smuppets. You then take her wrist in your hand, slide the ring off her finger, and pocket it. Isn't there something you're forgetting? Gamzee stares up at you with his horrible, limpid eyes. There's something serene, sinister, and sensual all at once about the look he's laying on you. It sends a shiver up the whole length of your spine. Fuck no. Do everyone a favor and put an end to his preposterous narrative relevance. You wisely decide that this clown will lend nothing valuable to the narrative whatsoever if he is allowed to remain outside of your childhood refrigerator. You put both hands on his chest and shove him into the fridge where he belongs. He goes easily, issuing only a pair of weak honks in protest. You slam the fridge shut and resolve to never think about Gamzee Makara again. Zap to the next plot point. Number 4. You arrive in the land of heat and clockwork in a flash of white. A column of brutally hot air blasts up from the lava below and instantly hits your entire body. Luckily, you're fairly immortal, so the only damage it does is to fog up your glasses a bit. Through the condensation, you can make out the shapes of Dave and Jade below, as well as 2 more of you hovering in the air above. Both Johns turn to look at you. On the ground, Dave is talking in a particular cadence, one that is familiar to you, his longtime best buddy. Casual, wandering, verging on droning. It's a good indication he'll be monologuing for a while, and probably already has been. Later, Sosa. Have a good one, glad you joined. I'm serious, the thing is, being a time guy, like actually mastering time travel, I'm pretty sure what that involves is learning to never use it. See, it's like karate. Well, it's more like what they say about karate, that you learn it so you don't use it. But I mean, we all know the truth about karate is if you know karate, then obviously in reality you use it all the time. Like doing lethal fucking crane kicks and sweet karate chops while walking down the street just because you can. It's a goddamn no-brainer. That's what you do with karate. John, what the fuck are you doing here? Or, wait, actually 3 Johns? Hey, 3 Johns, what the fuck are 3 Johns doing here? It's a fair question, which logically should have been directed to the oldest and most knowledgeable John. Nevertheless, one of the younger Johns replies first.
I don't know. John, don't worry about it. I'll take things from here.
Johns, don't get me wrong, it's cool that you all randomly dropped by again, but this wasn't really the best time. We were kind of in the middle of a thing here.
Whoops, sorry. Actually, I only came here to swoop in and zap this John away without being seen, to retcon away the mess I made earlier. I didn't expect to see another John here. Hey, other John, I said I'll handle it. I'm the only one who actually knows what's going on here.
God damn it, Johns, what the fuck did you do?
Young Dave, please, let me deal with the Johns first, then I'll explain.
Young Dave? Oh, yeah. Why are you a fucking adult now? Did you grow up and start time traveling, dude?
Will someone tell me what the fuck is happening? Johns, there's no reason for you to hang around anymore. Not to sound like a wet blanket, but the things you're trying to accomplish are now useless, so you can just zap away and do whatever you want. Useless? Wait. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'm sure you can still go and do what I did when I originally did what you're currently trying to do.
Jesus, John.
In fact, it will still probably be a very rewarding experience. Some of my best memories happen right after you do what you're going to do next. The point is, you should just go do it so that you aren't here anymore. I'm here to make sure some new and different important things happen, and those things don't include you. Oh. Okay.
The useless John zap away. You sincerely hope that they have a beautiful and fulfilling youth. Adult John, what the fuck have you done? Is this some time travel shit? Please don't tell me you've been spending the next however many years bungling through time like this, because to be honest, if what I just witnessed was even remotely indicative of shit you get up to on a recurrent basis, then your future is almost too embarrassing to even think about. And this is coming from a teenager who was just in the middle of an angsty episode.
It's true.
No, that was Resi.
It's true.
My voice is fucking gone. It's going away.
No, Teen Dave, this is not at all representative of my habits as an adult, but thanks for the concern. I'm not time traveling, and neither were the other Johns. I use my retcon ability to travel here from the future, in a manner of speaking. Sounds fucking stupid. It is stupid, but that's just how things are. I'm a little confused. I'm supposed to be hunting you down and capturing you, but I'm not sure if the adult version of you counts. I think the Condess might just be confused if I brought her an adult John. Will there be a lot of questions that need answering? There will be a lot of questions that need answering, that's for sure. No, you don't need to capture me. And you wouldn't be able to, even if you wanted to, since my existence literally transcends the confines of canon. Well, I guess it simplifies things then? Yep, pretty much. In that case, would you mind giving me and Dave a few minutes to wrap our conversation? We were sort of in the middle of something important. I think. No, you really weren't. Sorry to be the bearer of lame news like I just was to the other Johns, but whatever you were doing doesn't matter anymore. Nothing that's happening here matters at all. This session, this whole takeover by the Condess, this isn't how a universe gets made. It's not? No. Well, I mean, it is, but it already happened. We already made it, and we've been living in it for years already, from my perspective. Oh yeah? How is it? Pretty cool. I mean, a little boring at times, but hey, that's life. Yeah, that's about how I thought it would be. So what now? If it's all a done deal, like preemptively speaking, can we all just relax, or what? Actually, no. Fuck. I just realized why she sent me to this point in time to start recruiting you all. What? Who? Rose. Why'd she do that? And what do you mean recruit? What the hell's going on? This is the moment just after you made your legendary cue ball sword. You're going to need it. For what? To come fight Lord English with me. Dave's eyebrows descend beneath his sunglasses. You feel pretty bad because you're about to completely circumvent the life-changing epiphany he's just had that you know for a fact will make him a happier, chiller, and altogether more well-balanced human being. Oh shit. What? John, he is not going to fight Lord English just yet. He's staying right here. Old lady's orders. Actually, yes, he is. And so are you. We all are. OMG, how dare you! Jade, you're brainwashed. Sorry, but nothing you're saying now means anything. It's fine, though. You'll stop being brainwashed once I zap you outside the influence of the Condess. You're not zapping me anywhere! Yes, I am. Watch this.
Zap Grimbark Jade out of there. Just, haha, cute. Get out of here. Need some water. Fuck. This is killing me. You set a hand on Jade's shoulder and zap her off to a better place. Then you touch down on the concrete surface where the whole pointless confrontation was taking place so that you can talk Dave around whatever it is he's going through right now. Dave, like his ecto-sister, really needs to get an absurd amount of extraneous words before he can fully process the situation. The mayor tips his head at you and fiddles with his sash. God damn you, missed the mayor. So, what do we do next?
Well, I'll leave you to hang out with Jade for a bit while I go round up the others.
What others? Like, everyone?
Yes, Rose and the other 4.
I see. So, sorry, if I seem a little slow here, I'm just trying to figure this out. You're telling me that I made this sword because I'm destined to defeat Lord English, and we've all been training for that day our whole lives to some extent, more or less. And we were actually successful here like we overthrow the Condess and make our universe and everything. And then we sit on our asses for several years in the new universe and become adults and lead mostly boring lives instead of going out to fight him?
Yes.
I guess that makes sense. Now that I think about it, that's probably what I would want to do by the time we finally wrap up this whole hot mess.
Yep, it is what you wanted to do, and pretty much everyone else agreed, including me. So that's what we did.
Which, I guess begs the question, if it seemed pointless at the time and nobody could be asked to go fight him when we all had our shit together, why does it suddenly become important to go back and beat him years later after we become a bunch of lazy adults with boring lives?
I pretty much had the same questions, Dave. There are probably some pretty good answers to that, definitely some complicated answers. But to be honest, I kind of forget what they actually were.
God damn it, John.
It has something to do with canon unraveling and such. We all live outside canon in the future, and if we don't do, go do, everything will stop meaning anything.
Does anything you just said actually mean anything in the first place?
That's a great question, Dave. One that I can't say I'm qualified to answer. I think the bottom line here is this is what Rose said we had to do, so that's why we're doing it.
Sounds like a bullshit reason if I ever heard one.
You might be right, but it is less of a bullshit reason than any other reason we currently have to go. But is it less of a bullshit reason than any other reason we currently have to go fight him?
Damn. You're right. I don't know how you did it, but you instantly sold me completely. Fuck you, adult Egbert.
Still got it.
You zap Dave to where he needs to go. The mayor is still staring at you, blinking his buggy little eyes. You shoot him a warm smile and a thumbs up before bouncing off into the ether of infinity. Oh, the mayor. How long is this? Can I read it in 7 minutes? I might be able to read it in 7 minutes. Meet 5. The stands of the Cantown Memorial Arena are packed front to back with audience members from every kingdom. Presently, the crowd is going nuts, enthralled by Jake English's skillful posing and mollified by the deeply theatrical stage dive that Dirk has just taken onto the mat. Dirk, in fact, has unquestioningly eaten shit. His shit eating was so brutal that no one, except maybe Jake, cares that he's taking a phone call in the middle of a live broadcast. And no one should, really. The broadcast has been going for 3 hours already. Dave takes a seat on the couch, right in Karkat's butt groove. He observes his battered ecto-father, who is lying inside a wreath of busted robot limbs like a piece of absolute garbage. Bro, I'm watching you now on the tube, and I gotta say, while the beatdown you just received was as thorough as it was humiliating, I'm afraid as usual the solution to this problem should probably not involve your decapitation. You fucking drama queen. Damn. Are you sure? Yeah, Jay just kicked your ass. That's really all there is to say on the matter. You're probably right, but still not entirely sure we should be so quick to rule out my beheading as a catch-all solution to any given problems. It really could save us all a lot of trouble in the future, especially me. It's really amazing how this meme we have going here continues to be exactly as funny as the day it was established. Isn't it always, though? Yeah. By the way, how did you get your ass kicked so bad? Jake sucks and his raps are fucking awful. Please tell me this garbage show is as rigged as it looks. On the TV, Dirk makes an elegant hand sign that once might have represented solidarity with some ancient coastal rap group, but now has been utterly divorced from its cultural context here on Earth C. The camera pans away from him and over the crowd. It zooms in on a young crocodile wearing an oversized t-shirt with Jake's highly marketable ass plastered over it and the phrase "tally-ho" written in big bubble letters. Dave, there's such a thing as showmanship. I'm sure I don't need to explain this to you, of all people. Okay, cool, it's fake, just making sure. Sigh, we really don't like to use that word. Oh, man, okay. Holding back a little to achieve certain results doesn't necessarily mean we're participating in a farce or rigging the event. We do this all the time. We hold back our thoughts, our true feelings, our full potential. We disguise, I can't read. We disguise how much we know about what and when and for what purpose, for many purposes. To ease relations, to let others behave naturally and make up their minds without undue intervention, to wait for the right moments to show our hands, to pick our battles. In life, there are many reasons to show restraint, which would never be regarded as an attempt to rig reality. Oof, my dog, you are full of some shit today, aren't you? Absolutely. And when it comes to theater, there are just as many reasons for restraint, to build tension, to set the stage, to give the people someone to root against. Is that what you're doing now? Making people root against you? What, by losing a round? No, man, that's just standard pace and stuff when it comes to battlecraft. No, I mean by holding up the whole fight by talking to me. I can see you on the TV. They're booing you, dude. The crowd has indeed finally exhausted both its patience and its thirst for ceaseless ogling of Jake's impressive glutes. The camera swings around to focus on Dirk, who, since landing on his self-admittedly second-rate ass, has not moved except to make arcane rap-related hand gestures. The excitable salamander manning the camera switches to a fisheye lens for some unfathomable reason, giving the whole exchange an air of demented absurdity. Dirk's sunglasses distort and stretch to dominate the entire screen. Oh, then yes, I guess that is what I'm doing. Fuck, I need to remember these fucking people's voices. Dirk, are you going to be much longer with your telephone call? The crowd is getting feisty. You didn't get too badly winded from our last scrum, did you, Dirk? No, Jake, I'm fine. I'll just be a minute. What about the agitated rabble? They're starting to throw things. I don't know, do a dance or something. Sing a song. They love anything you do. Okay, sounds stupid, but I'll try. Jake tips an imaginary hat towards center stage and begins doing the Charleston. Dave is subjected to an entirely fisheye lens full of Jake's booty shorts flexing and constricting against his tanned thighs. Just as Dirk predicted, the crowd immediately loses its shit, except for a single carapacian in the front row who continues to glower at Dirk with an expression of absolute and total contempt. Why do people hate you so much? It's fucked up. You're reading way too much into it. If I wanted another round of embarrassingly indulgent and mutually masturbatory psychoanalysis, I would have called my daughter instead. Do I need to point out how fucking weird what you just said was, or can that start going without saying at this point? I think I can go without saying. Nice. The point is, playing myself up as a villain figure in this hacky rap passion has nothing to do with getting people to dislike me. Besides, everyone loves a good villain. When they boo, they don't really mean it. I think you'd be surprised at how popular I actually am. I don't know, man. Something flies out of the audience and smacks Dirk in the side of the head before flopping out of view of the camera. He doesn't react or make any facial expression at all. Did someone just throw a diaper at you? There's gonna be some diapers, yeah. Sounds bad. The point is, this is much less about me and more about providing a foil for Jake's heroism and charisma. It's very important that his popularity continues to be cultivated to maximize his political capital. Political capital? What the fuck Okay, how long have you known about the Jane thing? I mean, is this something you've been planning for like a long time, or planning is such an intense word? God damn it.
Look, let's just say there have been some conversations. Does it mean you're with your approval? Gina's such a shitty candidate, dude. She's going to be so shitty. I thought you'd feel that way. I respectfully disagree. I guess she's a good friend of yours and all, but even you have to admit how far up her own ass she is. Of course. I consider it to be among her best qualifications for the job. Christ. Okay, if nothing else, have you at least taken into account the devastation to the economy this will cause? You know perfectly well how much we differ on fiscal policy. Maybe this isn't the best time for one of our epic debates on the subject? Yeah, yeah. What was I thinking? Wasting the time of the dude who currently holding up a televised rap contest so bad he's getting diapers thrown at him. Dave, I think if you search your soul, you'll come to the same conclusion I have. Jane is just what the planet needs. We've all had our fun here, but it's easy to overlook the fact that civilization on Earthsea is hardly a sustainable proposition. Just beneath the surface, it's quite a dangerous and unstable place. I know that, which is why I think it would be cool to have a president that is good instead of bad. He's not as great as you think. What? Who? Obama? How dare you? No, fool. Carcat. Oh. I think your heart is in the right place, but the dude is a complete amateur. He'll get eaten alive. I also have a hard time imagining he even wants the job. Really, it's an awful idea for him to even run. Think about how much is going to inflame the interspecies tensions on this planet. Is that what you want? I meant be for both of you, really. It's nice that you encourage and support each other in this way, but you're sending him on a fool's errand, which can only end badly. Dave opens his mouth to argue, but something else occurs to him. Wait. How do you even know he's entering the race? Fucking hell. We, just decided this. A competent political operative has his ways. Besides, it was always pretty obvious to me you'd react this way the moment the announcement was made. Okay, that's kind of creepy, but it doesn't change anything. He's running for president, he's gonna fucking win. End of story. Fair enough. Though, now I'm wondering, since you and Jane have been planning this for a while, how many key endorsements have you locked up? Because if you've already got Jake on your side, then I guess we might as well just fucking quit. I wouldn't worry about it. He and I don't quite have the rapport we once did. He's over me and doesn't spare opportunities to make an ostentatious demonstration of this claim. Basically, he doesn't like being told what to do, especially not by me. So it's fair to say, as of now, he's still fully in play. Not that I should be encouraging you, really. You are one double-talking son of a bitch, you know that? I can't tell if you don't want us to run or a reverse psychology mind-fucking us into running. Does it matter? I guess not. Not like I can just stand around and wait for President Crocker to, write fucking grammar laws into the Constitution. Good. That's a heroic attitude you have, which I'm pleased to hear. Even if your plan is stupid, which it is, and even Crocker would be an atrocious president, which he would. Nuh-uh. Sorry to cut this short, but diapers are starting to come down pretty hard right now, and some of them haven't even had their fucking hell. I read ahead and I got to the part, and some of them haven't even had their babies removed. What? That was a joke. Goodbye, Dave. Dirk hangs up the phone and wipes off his face. The mood in Canton Memorial Arena is tense, snapping and popping from the dull cooling and heating of the audience's expectations and tempers. An uneven silence begins to fall over the stadium as Dirk hops to his feet. Jake can't help but watch the motion, raking his eyes over the muscles shifting beneath the skin of Dirk's neck and arms. There is something implacably magnificent about Dirk Strider, Jake thinks, untamed like a wild game beast of incredible size and strength. Of course, their history together is never far from Jake's mind, however many years it's been since their last tussle of an amorous nature. The old dramas and triumphs in the days of Sburb, Dirk's companionship has been taxing to the heart, to say the least, and yet he's taught Jake so much about combat, philosophy, life, love. But sometimes, despite their checkered and problematic past, Jake wishes that he could seize Dirk by the proverbial horns and wrest him bodily into becoming a much more agreeable fellow. Then again, who would Dirk be if he weren't so contentious and imperious? Certainly not someone to inspire such willful lollygagging. Jake cannot help but observe. Sorry for the momentary diversion, Jake. Now what were we? Momentary? Gadzooks, man, you were on the phone for half a friggin' hour. I know you like to get the crowd all hot and bothered, but we are supposed to be professionals here. You're right, my bad, won't happen again. How about you kick off the next round? I bet this crowd will settle shit right down the moment you drop the latest rhymes you've been tinkering with. You know the ones. Gasp! You don't mean... Oh, but I do. Jake's... you're gonna make me fucking rap? Fuck. Jake's face lights up. He composes himself, adjusting a bow tie, although he is not wearing one. And making a vague gesture like he's twirling one end of the mustache Jake has not yet let him grow. Dirk lets him go with a gentle smile, like the sort you'd give to a dog for performing a trick adequately. Jake responds to the signal like an Olympic athlete hearing this starter piston. He was born for this. Oh, I don't like where this is going to go. Tally-ho, it's me, Jake McGee, popping my pistols off, 2 shots and a kiss. My aim is
tops I never miss. One shot to the heart, other to your lips. I'm heelless. You can't impede this. Well, these cads are all hat and very little cattle. Cattle so weak, and one fears they might be feedless. As I prattle and digress, you try to make your egress in the middle of the battle, but surely ye jest. Fiddle faddle, my rhymes are known to bring the rattle. I rattle those bones right down to the bit. I'm a mellifluous old chap who knows how to take a hit. I'm the tip top of the morning. A rip-roaring halt to your snoring like pouring butter on bacon. Their hunger awakens. All the rascally scallywags and dastardly jackanapes always ask of me, mate, what is shaking? With golden gas pipes such as Jake Ings. I'm dodging their shade and ducking their jape slings while my rump stokes a thirst that rhymes have been slaking. I fucking hate it when this fucking story makes me sing or rap. The crowd, as Dirk rightly predicted, has settled its shit right down. This is not due to any accidental brilliance on the part of Jake English, but rather due to an unabashed but loyal brand of pity. The kind of devoted fan cannot help but feel when they see a beloved celebrity make an ass out of themselves during a live broadcast they have waited 2.5 years in line to buy a ticket for. Dirk's phone begins going off again. When the splendid lads and ladies ask me how do you do, Whoops, Jake, sorry to cut you off. Looks like I'm getting another call. Really need to take this one. Gonna have to wrap this battle up sooner than scheduled. With a casual flick of his wrist, Dirk snaps out a bright red tranquilizer handgun and shoots Jake in the neck. Jake's glasses crack when he hits the mat. A chorus of boos rises up from the crowd like groundwater. Dirk artfully dodges a bucket of obscene troll fluid to field yet another very important personal phone call. Euros, what's up? All right, let me save real quick. Fucking hell. All right, so that was the first part of my reading the epilogues. That felt good. Anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out and chatting, for putting up with the shenaniganery. I'm switching between Befriendus over to the epilogues. And if you're watching this on YouTube, or you're watching the VOD later, and you liked it, make sure you click the like button down below. If you liked it, I don't know, I got switched up there. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you liked it, click the like button down below. Subscribe if you want to keep up with my stuff. New videos almost every Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. They are my stream VODs. I don't have a video every fourth Wednesday because I don't stream every fourth Sunday. There's a link down in the description that takes you to my Twitch channel, so you can see my schedule and everything like that. Comment, what was your favorite part about this? Was it the prologue to the epilogue, or was it starting the meat epilogues? What's your favorite part about what's happening so far? Share with your friends if you have friends who wanted to get into Homestuck but didn't have the time because it is very daunting and is very long, and they haven't read the epilogues yet, which I think I might be the only person who is in the Homestuck family that hasn't read these yet. But share with them. Helps build a community and everything like that. We have a Discord. There's a link down in the description below. There's also somewhere if you're on the Twitch right now. If you're on the Twitch, if you're in the chat, that's what I meant to say. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. My voice is dying. Thanks everyone in chat for watching today. Thanks everyone on YouTube who watched the VODs later. Again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and hope to see you next time. Later, everybody. Do 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 do.